The Chip on Kirk's Shoulder. A dramatic reading by Roll Kavaz. My name is Hank. Kirk and I have been going lots of places together for a long time now. Kirk has a habit of getting us into fights. The problem for me is that he is small and I am big. Kirk is 5 feet tall and very quick-tempered. Even if he's at class, he gets into it with somebody about once a week. He picks the fights, and I have to get us out of the jams. I'll try and control my temper, he has said many times, but then he loses it again. For instance, we went together to the county fair last month. We really had a lot of fun, but it was just the way it always was. I had to pull him out of 2 arguments with strangers. If somebody bumps into him in a crowd, he just can't let it go. He has to say something tough. Then they have to say something back. If I hadn't been there, he would have been eating his teeth. He knows very well that he's a little guy, but he still wants to fight the world. He got himself kicked out of the biology lab for losing his temper. Another boy bumped into his table as he walked along the aisle. "Hey, dummy!" Kirk shouted. "You just ruined my work." Actually, it wasn't a big thing. Bumping the table did spill some stuff we were working with, but all we had to do was get some more and get it done. Kirk made such a scene of it that the teacher sent him to the office. He finally got permission to go after school to make up the work. Another silly thing he did happened in the church. One Sunday we went early together. Both our parents wanted to sleep for a while. We were sitting in a full pew with some other people. Some lady tried to crowd into the seat by pushing Kirk. At first he wouldn't move, and when she continued it was the same old thing. "Okay, lady," he bellowed out loud. "You can have my place." He stomped out of the church, grumbling to himself. She was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. People turned to stare at him. Kirk went home. Another time that he lost his temper was in American history class. No one, including Kirk, was sure what caused the incident. He ended up calling Mrs. Ross some names. That got him in a 2-day suspension, and he spent 5 days after school making up what he missed. "I didn't mean to call Mrs. Ross all those names," he informed me. "She just made me so angry." Something happened yesterday which convinced me that Kirk can control his temper if he wants to. We were walking along the street. A little girl came roaring out of her driveway on her bike. She hit Kirk and knocked him down. I knew he was really hurting badly by the expression on his face, and the way he was holding onto his leg. She dropped the bike and ran to him, repeating, "I'm sorry! I'm sorry!" Did Kirk snap? No. He looked at her as she came to him, and he reached up and gave her a hug. "Don't cry," he said. "It's okay. I'm okay." I really like Kirk when his temper doesn't get in the way. He's a great storyteller, and he must have read every joke book that has ever been published. When he rattles off one story after another, I almost split laughing. That's one of the reasons why I like him so much. Last weekend I stayed overnight at Kirk's house. It was one of the greatest nights we ever had together. No fights. Kirk didn't flare up at his dad, or his mom, or me. We played pool, the 4 of us, on his dad's table. We watched a good movie that his mom had rented. His dad grilled hamburgers in the backyard, and we ate sitting on the lawn, just like a picnic. It was hard to believe that Kirk ever had trouble getting along with people. And then 2 nights later we went jogging. As we trotted by one house, a big dog jumped up and barked at us. He really did scare us. His master called him and the dog sat down. But Kirk had to call the man names and threatened to punch his lights out if it happened again. "Hey Kirk, you must be crazy," I warned him. "If you even touched that fellow, his dog would have eaten you." When I got back to my house, I was still upset with him. I was about to lose my own temper. "Kirk, the next time you get us into some kind of fight, I'm going to join the other guys and pound on you," I threatened. "Maybe if you got a good beating, You'd find a way to handle your temper. I paused for a moment. So now, go home, I told him. Discussion questions. Number 1. Should Hank give up on Kirk and find other friends? Number 2. Is wanting to help Kirk a good thing? Should one friend always help another? Number 3. Is Hank exposing himself to too much fighting by continuing to see Kirk? Number 4. What are some dangers in fighting? Number 5. What is there about Kirk that makes him difficult to help? Number 6. How important is it to be able to exercise self-control? Can a person help someone else achieve self-control? Number 7. Should Hank seek some assistance from an adult, and if so, who? Number 8. If you were Hank, what would you do? This has been a dramatic reading of The Chip on Kirk's Shoulder by Robert Kafaz. Thank you, and good night. Toodles! And now, for some bloopers. He got himself kicked out of biology lab for losing his temper. Another boy bumped into his table. Another time he lost his temper in American history class. Hey, Kirk! You must be crazy! I warned him. If you even touch that fellow dog... Hey, Kirk! You must be crazy! I warned him. If you even touched that fellow, his dog would have beaten you bit by bite. Number 3. Is Hank exposing himself too much by fighting? Is Hank exposing himself too much fighting? Is Hank exposing himself too much to fighting by continuing to see Kirk? Is Hank exposing himself... Number 3. Is Hank exposing to too much... Why is this so hard? Is Hank exposing himself... Number 5. What is there about Kirk that makes him difficult to help? Number 5. What is there difficult? Number 6. How important is it to be... Number 6. How important is it to be able to achieve self-exercise control?